exactly what my next guest did. So you don't have much money and you decide that you're going to go and ask your mum for 800 quid so you can buy yourself a van because you got a vision. 4 years down the track, that vision is turned into £1 million a year turnover. That's exactly what my next guest did. Are you ready to hear his story? Let's do it. Craig, thanks for coming on the show today. I'm really excited to speak to you, mate. You've got an interesting story. I'm ready to hear it. Let's do it.
Yeah, good, John. Yep, can't wait.
Go for it, mate. What do you tell me your story?
Onto our business, like Quinergy, how it kind of started. It started off the back of an idea from my kind of new partner, Sarah. Sarah was in the property game, and she was struggling for reliable contractors, carrying out like testing. So not so much as an electrician, but for when you rent out a property, you need safety certificates in place before you can rent the property out. And she was struggling, like old dinosaurs, kind of running about in a van, can't do their paperwork, can't send it in. Like, that's what you're hearing all the time. Tradesmen were just difficult with paperwork. So I just thought, this got to be easy. Let's give it a go. So set up Quinergy. Quinergy's half my son's name. That's Quinn, and then Energy. Quinn and Energy. That's how the name came about.
Nice.
And thought let's bring new technology into a market which is really needing it. And we decided set up a safety certificate business, just basically doing this for landlords. So yeah, set that up. But the stumbling block was how to fund it, how to start it. Great big ideas, but how do you feed it? How do you feed the idea? And at that stage, I was going through a separation. I was kind of living. I left the kind of family home, and I was staying with my parents and friends and stuff like that. So I just decided, you know what, this is just, might as well just go for it. Just bite the bullet, put everything you've got into it. Built up the courage to go and ask my mum for some money, and she took £1,000 loan out of the credit union for me and gave me 800 of it. And then I went and bought a van, an old Merc van, Vito van, that had 178,000 miles on it. It was rusty everywhere. It took 10 minutes to start. you had to switch your radio off, the fans off, everything all off, and like basically pray every time it was starting. But anyway, got that, and then just started basically started doing work for Sarah first, and then made kind of used her as a kind of foundation. So I just done everything she wanted and worked it from there. And then her company that she worked for, a company called Cairn Letting, they've seen that what I was doing, and then they decided, well, can we use you for all our safety certificates? Done that, then realised, you know, that this is easy scalable. You can work out how much time's involved in each visit. And then I bought a software package that brought all these certificates into place. It's a scheduler. So then I realised, right, we need an admin person to schedule this up and run me and done that. And then brought on a girl, Amy, straight away within about 3 weeks of the company being started.
So that was, sorry, just let me interrupt. So that was your first move. So it was just you doing all these certificates and doing the safety stuff, and then you brought on Amy, was it?
Yeah, I brought Amy on. So like, I kind of knew straight away that the admin is what was holding all the other contractors back.
Yeah.
And what was holding me back, like answering emails, answering phone calls, sending the certificate, sending the invoice. And obviously with a certificate, you're looking at the condition of the electrics, the plumbing, the gas. So there could be remedials after that. So then you've got to build up a quote, and you've got to send that. So then I realised straight away, admin is where this is. 50% us being out doing the practical, 50 admin. So I thought, bring on an admin girl. And Sarah used to work with a girl called Amy Grimison. She's still with us. She's my left-hand woman in the business. She was from a letting agency. So I thought, well, all we do is work for letting agents. So it's best to have somebody that came from a letting background, understanding what we need or what the letting agent needs from us. So brought Amy in straight away, knowing fine well I didn't have enough money to pay me or her. So I don't know how we get through the first couple of months, to be honest, by hook or by crook. We were just asking for money like the next day of invoice and stuff like that, bringing it on and making sure Amy got her wage first. She had a child in a house, and I always want to look after the employees first. And basically we grew dramatically within the first 6 months. I think it's just a niche market. I got there at the right time, and presented it well. Actually showed our clients what it is we can do, and how we can save them time and money. And it just snowballed. Before you know it, I was going out and selling a lot and trying to get new letting agents on, new people. It got to a stage where after about a year, it flipped, where everyone was coming to us. We didn't have to go out and sell. And that is the best moment. That is like that moment where you go, not kind of made it, but this is easier now, if that makes sense.
People are coming looking for you, for your service. That's awesome.
Yeah, you know how hard it is when you're going out trying to sell something to somebody, and you're like, no, listen, no, I'm trying to, you need this. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to sell. I find it hard to sell unless somebody actually comes to you and goes, can I have a price list or this? That makes it easy. But when you're going in off the street and talking to them and going, see, instead of sending out 3 contractors, like one to do your gas work, one to do your electrical work, one to do your plumbing, one to do your energy. So 4 kind of contractors, then one to do your energy. I'm fully trained to do all of it. And the guys that I was bringing on are fully trained, like multidiscipline, to do it all in one visit. So I think trying to explain that to a trade that's been doing it the same way for 20 years is difficult. So yeah, that was probably the kind of first hurdle, is trying to sell that idea. But then there was the new age of letting agents or property managers. They understood it and they adopted the kind of niche business that we are quite quickly, and it snowballed ever since. And now we're doing different things, but Quinergy's still there doing the safety certificates for letting agents, landlords, but we're now doing boiler care, electrical care for people who own their own homes. So instead of going with British Gas, you can come with us. You pay, it's like 35 pence a day, and it covers you for your boiler, and you can upscale it to cover your electrics and stuff like that. So
wow.
That's where we're going to next, trying to get subscriptions so that you've got X amount of people paying per month. It's kind of a cash roll when your wages till your work comes in. So that's where we are just now.
That's awesome. So what did you do prior to starting Quinergy? Like what were you doing before that prompted you to make that change? Like you were saying that obviously you were going through, a separation and on all of those things. But yeah, what were you doing previously?
Yeah, so I served my time as the electrician with a local company in Hamilton called EJ Steel. Long gone now, they were bought over by Carillion and McAlpine and stuff like that. So I got a very good apprenticeship with them. And in my third year, I kind of went into junior engineering, kind of contracts management, facilities management. They retrained me to go into that. Then I kind of worked as a facilities manager, looking after buildings, the air conditioning, the plumbing. So that's how I got multidisciplined that way. And then I learned how to use systems. So they had work schedule systems and maintenance schedule systems. So your computer or the system you used printed off what maintenance you had to do that week. And then you scheduled whatever guys you had in that team to go and do that maintenance. And then you signed it all off, and then it kept coming round. And then you were using asset management tools to manage that. So that's why I adopted these systems into Quinergy. So I'd done that for a while, and then I get bored of it when I was about late 20s. I get into car trade, really different thing. Had a car wash, then had a car garage, buying and selling cars, fixing cars, and then we had a car wash outside of it. made some good money with that. Unfortunately, the M77 came through where we were based down in Rutherglen, Kilmarnock, M74, M77, can't remember, and it was a compulsory buy to get us out of where we were. Then I kind of just dossed about. I bought some property, and then kind of went back into the tools doing electrical, and then started doing electrical work, self-employed. Done that for a while, and then the last recession kicked in, and then everything died overnight. I had spent all the money. I'd spent all my money really by then. All money was inside property, and then the property had plummeted. So kind of a low point then, 2006, 2007. And out the blue, I was talking to a friend that I'd not spoke to for years, and he was working in Afghanistan just at the time of the war. And he got me a job. I went and worked over in Afghanistan and Iraq.
What?
Yeah, just totally, to be honest, it was the pound signs, really. I didn't actually know what I was going over for. That was an experience. So like the first flight over in a kind of military aircraft, sitting on a net, like not even a seat, sitting on a net, pitch black. It's just their first landing in Afghanistan was just weird, really, really weird. I was sick and everything. I had like all your body armor on and a hard hat, or what do you call the military helmets.
Yeah.
And I was like going to be sick, and there was a Marine guy sitting next to me and a private security guy sitting in front of us. So you weren't sitting looking down at the plane, you were sitting across the plane looking at the other person.
Right.
So it was a weird experience flying. And I was saying to him, like, I'm going to be sick, to move out of the way. And he's like, he's pointing at my hat. So I had to take my hat off, and I was sick in my hat. And then the guy was like to me, you need to put your hat back on. So I'm looking down the line, there's quite a few people being sick, because the way I had to come in to land, it was quite an abrupt, so that it was straight down.
Right.
So I put the fucking hat, and I could feel the sick running down my back, and then just landed in this airbase, and it was like, right, go, like contractors this way, military that way, and I was like, oh my god, where am I? Like, what is happening? So anyway, done that for 5-6 years, and then came back, and then basically I worked offshore when I came back after that. Got a job in Aberdeen, and then that's when I met between separating and meeting Sarah, and learning that I was doing homers when I was working offshore, and it was for letting agents and stuff. People I knew in that trade, and then it just clicked that I could do this as a business kind of thing, doing work for letting agents and landlords. And then I just decided, I'm not working offshore again. I'm just going to come back. I wanted to set up life with kind of Sarah, and have a kind of strong house for the family, if you know what I mean. And then that was it. That's how it kind of came about. And we've never looked back. That's now 4 years. So
wow,
it's doing well.
That's great. So you were saying before, sort of talking about proud moments. Was that a proud moment in your business when people started chasing you, started knocking on your door and looking for Craig?
Yeah, that was probably the turning point. The proud. I mean, obviously not the proudest moment in life, but proudest moment of kind of Quinnergy. The fact that we had clamped out vans, and then I managed to get enough kind of clout behind me to get credit to get a brand new van, and then getting it after a kind of year, and then getting it sign written and having your branding on it, and then, as you say, people coming to it. It was like it's actually a thing now. It's actually a company, because there's a tipping point where you're shouting at everyone to say, look, here's Quinnergy, look, this is what it is, this is what we do, and you're eager all the time to like promote yourself and trying to get people to see you and do this. And then when it tips that people do see you and want to use you without asking what it is you do or having to explain yourself, that is a great moment. And that's probably the proudest moment of the kind of company. The next stage of that is when you've got people working for you and they're proud to work for you,
Yeah.
and you can afford to pay their wages. Because for the first wee while of when it was like 3 or 4 people, it went back to the stage at the very start where I wasn't taking a wage, no, them were getting their money. And then when after 3 months, and because there's obviously like a 90-day pay period, 30 to 90 days, when it started to pick back up, then I would pay myself. So when you get out of that horrible circle, and you can basically pay yourself every month and you can pay everybody else, that's another great moment as well.
That's awesome. Wow, this story is just going straight in. I love it with the Afghanistan
I know it's so
that's
like, I mean, it's there's so much to it, but
that's
I think
awesome.
that's key. I think that's a lot of people have that when they start up businesses.
Yeah.
They maybe fall into it at different stages of their life that you wouldn't expect to start up a business. And
Yeah.
that, I mean, I was making good money in Afghan and then making good money when I was offshore, but then obviously that all stopping and then leaving the family at home and still having to pay for that while you
Yeah.
weren't there and out of work. And so, yeah, I think that was a tough moment. And then, as I say, 4 years later, it's a distant kind of memory now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's awesome. What platforms do you like to use to advertise your business and to get your word out there?
Um, we're using all of them really, but for social media, we're doing better now on Instagram
Okay.
than what we were doing. But it's not great. We've only got like a small following, a couple of thousand, and we get maybe 200 or 300 views per story feed kind of every day and about 100 likes. So it's very average. But what a lot of people are saying to me is they're loving the content on the Instagram, but whether that brings in work, it probably doesn't.
Mm.
So where we generate our leads from or where our work comes from is more LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Because a lot of letting agents, property managers,
Business to business. Yeah.
people who are wanting to invest in property, who have that kind of thing, or on that, and it's easy to find other people on that. Where it's not easy to find that on Instagram. So you only find it if you want to follow somebody, or
Yeah.
the hashtags are too dense. That if somebody just goes into Instagram and types in a hashtag that you want to be associated with, it's too dense.
Yeah.
Your posts need to be rocketing above everybody else's posts, or you need to promote them. So I would say LinkedIn. Facebook's good. There's quite a lot of groups on Facebook. Um, I've kind of got a love lost for Facebook. Facebook is what I used to use when I had the garage 10 years ago, and it done really well, and I liked it. But without swearing, there's a lot of balloons on it that just
Mm.
I can't deal with, if you know what I mean. You get a lot of
Yeah,
bad.
I see that more and more. It's weird since lockdown. I'm seeing that more and more with a lot of people who just got so many opinions, and it's almost like I feel like people are kind of fed up with being in lockdown as well. So they're just kind of a bit bored, and so
Yeah,
they seem to
the lash
target
out.
either lashing out, personal or to do with business as well. It's kind of I understand what you're saying when you're
So
talking about that.
yeah, so we decided like 2 years ago that we'll make a LinkedIn company page as well as like personal pages for it
Hmm.
all. And it's been very hard growing the LinkedIn business page. The algorithms for that is very different compared to your personal stuff, but it's starting to grow now because
Hmm.
we've kept at it. We've kept just tagging the page in on our personal, most of our personal pages, trying to do engagement, trying to ask questions on the post rather than just the worst thing you can do when it comes to marketing and stuff like that for your business is go on about what it is you always do or
Yeah,
what you're providing. Like we are the number one EICR company or gas safety company, and we can do this and we can do that for you. When you see posts like that, you just swipe by.
mm,
Where if you put something funny on, or something different, or like a nice car, or like a nice coffee from Roasted, like
mm,
different things. Just you just put different stuff on. People then get a feel for you as a person and what you are as the company,
yeah,
and they start to follow that rather than. I mean, most people will know what it is you do, and that you
yeah.
can, but you need to bring them in. So we use that. Our Instagram sometimes quite funny and quite close to the bone. Um, but it's engaging, if you know what I mean. It's kind of real. It's kind of like
Yeah.
day-to-day stuff, a bit like Roasted's and Theo's stuff. So yeah, like we're doing that. So, but I would say our main generation of leads comes from Google. Really, in all honesty, you can't shy away from it. We've stopped doing Google Ads because we've got that much leads coming in.
Yeah.
But Google Ads is targeted specific for exactly what it is you do. So if you've got good Google Ads, you can't beat that. And if you've got good SEO on your website, again, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
But to have good SEO, you need good structure around about it. So you need good social media because that all feeds in if it's all pointing to your website. So even though people might say, "Oh, it's I don't need this, I don't do that," you do really. It all ties in somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you've got good socials, your website will grow with your socials kind of thing. And then if you've got good ads, then you're targeting your market. So to go back to the question, I would say LinkedIn for kind of lead generation, Google Ads, and then your website to get a level of trust. Just say, for instance, if you're looking to use somebody to get a gas safety done, you would maybe go into Google and type it. But then when you're on the website or you're on there, you would then go to our Instagram or our Facebook to get a level of trust, to find out what it is we do and how we do it and who we are and if we're going to turn up, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's where I feel social media comes into play.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so have you got any favorite podcasts that you listen to, or books that you've read in the past, or have been reading, that has motivated you within your work and got you in the right mindset with everything that you do?
It's a hard one. I think I took this inspiration from other people rather than, like, at the time when we set this up, I wasn't really into podcasts. I didn't actually really know too much. I knew about podcasts, but it wasn't my kind of cup of tea. I think it was more watching YouTube videos of people like succeeding, but also seeing other people around about me achieving their goals or their dreams. If you know what I mean, a lot of people going out and going for it. So I think I've took inspiration from all kind of thoughts, and I think it was because I was in such a low point in my life that you're either going to like turn it around and go for it, or I mean, I don't want to say you could either go further down the scale or whatever, but I think you might take a wee bit of inspiration from somebody, but it's yourself that needs to absorb it
Yeah.
and go, like, I need to actually do something. Everybody can talk a good game and go, well, see if you've done this and done that, and done. So many people telling you how to do things, but you need to actually work out how you want to do it, and then do it. If it doesn't work, do it a different way, and then do it a different way. Just keep doing it till you find. You can go and talk to as many people in banks. You can talk to entrepreneurs, but there's probably even better entrepreneurs out there that you've not heard of, that are not staying in how they do their stories. And I feel a lot of the people that you do hear from, they're maybe not, they're hiding a lot, if you know what I mean. They're not telling you the full kind of stories. So
Yeah.
podcasts, I like, there's a guy called Mike Winnett, who's got a podcast series called The Contrapreneur. And what he does is he looks out people who are conning people to be entrepreneurs, so selling fake courses on how to be a millionaire, how to do cryptocurrency, all that stuff. So I've been on one of his podcasts, and he's done some stuff for me in the past. I like him. I like him as a person. I like what he does. I like where he is. Again, he started with nothing, set up a online training company, sold it, got his money. There was a few of them. And then he set up a production company, a bit like yourself, a kind of production company. And then they go and do these videos on entrepreneur bingo. It's quite good. So I like him. Whether I've got inspiration from him, I doubt it. But there's not been a specific podcast or
Yeah, just
books or
pulling
anything
bits
like
from
that.
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't help. I'm dyslexic as well, and I've got a tiny bit of Asperger's. So like reading and writing for me is I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just switch off after like a couple of pages. I can't take it in. So yeah, I think I had to change, if you know what I mean. I had to make this jump.
Yeah.
So there wasn't one person, sorry to not give you a good answer on that
No,
one,
no,
but
that's great. That's a great answer.
there wasn't one podcast that done it for me or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. I really appreciate you coming on today, Craig, and chatting to us. Would you mind if that you came on again? Because
I would
I
love
think
that,
that,
yeah.
yeah, because you really do have some interesting stories and getting some really good information off you as well about, the different platforms you've been using and the different strategies or whatever else. But I'd love to pose
Yeah,
some more questions at you and get some more information.
I would love that.
No, that's awesome. Guys, thanks very much for watching today. And thank you, Craig, for jumping on and chatting to us. We really do appreciate it. And we look forward to the next time that you're on.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe the channel, and we'll put all the information for Craig underneath here, and you can go to his website and get the information. Thanks very much. See you next time.